I'm the CEO of Hyperion Tech. We're a dedicated IT teams company for mid and long-term projects based in Malta. I came to Malta because I know in Malta there are a huge amount of companies that require sourcing and resources are scarce. So I'm going to talk a little bit about something that can help you in general. I'm a strong believer in the Ukraine. We have close to 100 people right now already working in the Ukraine. We're scaling up really fast because of the model we created. And I just want to give you some key success factors in software development today. You can utilize it basically with any company you work with, even with teams in-house if you do have them. So let's start. Great. So here are, there are many kind of parameters that you can check to indicate your success, but I want to focus on these three: responsivity, attention, and conflict of interest. So let's start with the most common model that we all know. Somewhere around the late 90s, freelancing was the big thing, right? Get yourself a freelancer, get shit done. And this thing kind of died out. If you're asking yourself why, just because as markets become more and more globalized, the competition rises, and these parameters start to loosen up. So let's just talk about these three factors in the eyes of a freelancer to understand what actually goes wrong, and then look at other models. So when you work with a freelancer, the responsivity rate will vary. Responsivity is simply how responsive is the person, right? So you're contacting them often. Obviously, you have a lot of development needs. What's next? Like, hey, are you there? And then he maybe will answer in a few hours or a few days, and then you cannot work. Your project is stagnated. You might find freelancer with exceptional responsive rate. Let's talk about level of attention. Level of attention, by definition in a freelancer, will always be low. It means the attention to your project. If you think about a freelancer, it's a business, right? He needs to make money. The clients that pay more gets more attention. Clients that pay less gets less attention. Clients that nudge more get more attention until the clients that pay more come and nudge, and they get the attention back. So basically, you never get things done in the full potential with a freelancer because of this problem. And when you talk about conflict of interest, in the end of the day, they gotta make a living. You gotta chase the next project. He doesn't know how long you guys are staying, and that's it. Pretty much, he always is in conflict of interest with your interests, because your interest is that someone will dedicatedly always work for you and develop your product so you can advance forward. And his interest is to get more deals because the time is ticking, the project is about to be over, and he needs to find a new project ASAP. So let's look at the traditional staffing, which is kind of, let's say, the dinosaurs of IT solutions that exist in the market today. They exist in different countries all around the world: Eastern Europe, Central Europe, United States, and the model is pretty simple. In a traditional staffing company, a company hires developers, and they substitute, like they create some kind of a pool, and then they rent out these developers. The main goal is to take all the people that are on the bench, fill them up with projects, so you won't lose on their salary. That's traditional IT staffing. Same problems arise. I would call it more like an upgraded freelancer. So when things don't go so well, you will have a relationship manager that you can cry to and say, hey, the developers didn't answer today, can you help us? And then they will oh yes, let me check what's happening. And level of attention, even if they tell you that the people work only for you, in an IT staffing company, they're always putting out fires in other projects. So from time to time, when you are not there, or when you are a little bit more loose in your attention to the company, they will just shift your seniors, put them to help another group that has a crisis. And then when you call, they put them back at your team to help you. So that's kind of a problem with attention that happens in traditional IT staffing that you should be aware of. And conflict of interest is the same. They try to preserve you. They don't try to make sure that your project goes well. So actually the project manager in these companies turns more into some kind of a diplomat, and he has KPIs. The KPIs are stretch the client as much as possible, propose extended projects, propose more scope of work to make sure we can extend the contract as far as possible. And they are measured by that. And that brings us to a huge conflict of interest, right? Because they are supposed to be aligned with your goals, and not with their goals. But that's how it goes, because when you have people on the bench, you have to keep paying their salaries not to lose, and they have to act this way. So that's traditional staffing. Then you have something that is somewhere less responsibility for the client, that's called HR staffing. It's basically, we can call them like head companies. I don't like this terminology because I believe humans are humans. They are not resources, heads, or tiers, but this is what they use in the industry. So responsivity rates is not applicable because they usually don't give you any project management solution. They just tell you, we are an HR company, we will put people in our office for you. We will send you CVs, you will interview them, they will come to work in our building, and from there, it's all yours. So you may be able to contact an HR contact and say, hey, Vladimir didn't come to work today, can you check where he is? Yes, we will call for you. If you don't have an international phone to call the Ukraine, they will call for you and look for Vladimir. But the main thing is that they are not so much into the project management part of things. You get levels of attention that vary according to the people you hired. You will have all kind of replacement rates because usually these HR companies don't offer the best work environments. So people that are between projects usually go to find a job for a few months and then they disappear. So you might even end up with someone with great attention and skill, but he will be taken away from you. He will just tell you, I'm sorry, I moved to a new place. And conflict of interest is very low in their case because basically all they do is put people in the chair and replace them for you when you're not happy until you leave or... So that's HR staffing. Basically, in Hyperion, we do something completely different to disrupt this old traditional dinosaur IT market. In Hyperion, we build outstanding, passionate, dedicated teams. We do it by using a lot of other factors, such as investing in company culture and other metrics for success. But the main thing is, because I was in agency and in the services industry for 11 years, I know what good service is about. I just applied the same things to IT development. So responsivity rates, daily, all the time, during working hours. We work in Scrum. Some of you already know what Scrum is. We won't go deeply into details. It just means a great framework to have full transparency and control over your project. Every day you can know who is working on what are they doing, where are they at, what's the progress level, and so on. So it's all transparent. Level of attention is high because in Hyperion, a dedicated team is a dedicated team. We don't switch people between projects. We don't do traditional IT staffing. Unfortunately, when the project is done, if we don't find a new project for this team, they just leave our company, which we are fine with because we are focusing only on solutions for mid-term and long-term projects. That is, by the way, what anyway creates commitment and engagement, a formed-up team, better relationship with the client, things that can never form on a project base. Because project base is short-term, there is no time to build up a team. What more, once the team starts working together and they stay together from start to the end, the more they are together, the faster their velocity becomes. They become more efficient, they execute things much faster. That's the secret. So you would say, yeah, this is similar to having in-house. Yeah, great. Sometimes in-house is not always easy because of HR issues or wages issues or other issues. That's why scaling in this method can work quite well. Conflict of interest is low, basically because you're just paying a monthly salary of dedicated teams. They just work for you. They don't have a goal to preserve you. They don't have a goal to keep you going. They don't offer you stretching of projects. They just do what you need. They might support you positively by giving you more input about your projects or what can be done better. But that's pretty much it. We just believe that when you give excellent service and you do it like in the right way, you will anyway stay as a client. And if not, then maybe it's time to leave, and that's also fine. We'll just find other clients that understand what is the quality of dedicated teams working for you. So for any team that you're measuring, always ask yourself about these three factors: responsivity, attention, conflict of interest. Think the same like you would think about your business, because the people on the other side think about theirs. And then you can measure where you are in terms of each parameter and think how to improve it. So I just leave my contact details here. I don't know if you have any time for questions. Do we? Like 1 or 2 minutes. If you want to ask me any question, please feel free. Don't be shy. Yes, please. That's a good question. Hyperion is god of the sun. I would say simplifying, like shedding light on complex old processes and making simplicity, transparency, proactiveness, help your business shine through, you know? Okay, thanks.